See, electrical machine subject is very, important for GATE examination. So tell me guys, how many marks you are expecting from electrical machine subject in GATE examination, please? I'm asking you guys, please try to respond. How many marks you are expecting from electrical machine subject in a GATE examination? Yeah, Suresh, you said 8 to 9. Shyam, next. You are saying 8 to 10, right? 10 to 12. Yeah, okay. See guys, it depends. It will vary from year to year. To be frank, if you see for the last 15 years papers, you can expect a 12 to 16 marks in electrical machine subject. We are not sure about 12 marks like that. It will vary from year to year. It will vary from 12 to 16, right? If you take maximum limit as 16 marks, so total electrical machine subject we can classify into 4 parts, 4 chapters I can say. What is that? Transformers, induction machine, synchronous machine, and DC machine. See here from transformers, induction machine, synchronous machine, DC machine, on an average you'll get 3 to 4 marks. If you take maximum limit, you'll expect 4 marks from transformers, 4 marks from induction machine, 4 marks from synchronous machine, and 4 marks from DC machine. Is it clear, guys? Okay. So don't think that sir only 4 marks for transformers like that. Okay. So if you take total electrical machine subject, it will be around 16 marks. No, out of 100 marks in GATE examination, 16 marks means is not less. Okay. 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 Is there anybody joined lately? I think I know Bharat, I know Joseph, and Malavika also send me charted. Okay. And is there anybody newly joined? Please try to interact. No problem. First day, no. I'll start subject. Don't worry. I'll make subject also very easy. There is no need to worry. Okay. You please try to interact with me first of all. First for 5 minutes. Hi friends. Please try to give response. Hello. Yeah, okay. So Vishnu Suresh, okay, hello. Sanjeev, okay, hello. Vijaya, okay. Raki, okay, very good. Nice response. Thank you. Okay. So I think I can start, right? I can start. See guys, I'm just okay. Hello. See guys, let me start a subject. Now I'm just going to start electrical machine subject, guys. See, let me complete the. Suppose if I take a basics topic, I'll discuss basics topic for 5 to 10 minutes. In that 5 to 10 minutes, you please wait. After one particular topic is completed, I'll give time to you. I'll ask if you are having any doubts. So you can raise your doubts through chat, and I can rectify your doubts, and I can proceed to next one. Okay, guys. See guys, in electrical machine subject, first of all, I'm just going to start transformers. Next, induction machine. Okay, next synchronous machine. Next, DC machine. Okay, guys. See, for understanding this transformers, induction machine, synchronous machine, and DC machine, okay, first of all, you should be very familiar with the basics. If you are not very familiar with the basics, it is not possible to understand electrical machine subject. Okay, guys. And one more thing, GATE examination. You know, it is a very toughest examination. I'm not making you to afraid. I'm just telling the truth. Okay, guys. So if you want to understand this subject clearly, and if you want to solve all previous questions from electrical machine subject clearly, so you should know some basics. Then only you can start, we can understand transformers, induction, synchronous, DC clearly, and we can solve any question from GATE examination, from ESE, from PSUs. So any questions we can solve. Okay, guys. So, okay, before starting basics, I'll ask one question, simple question to you guys. Okay, please try to reply through chat. Okay, guys. So I think in electrical machines, if you take transformers and if you take generators, okay, in transformers, EMF will be induced. Everybody knows that. Transformer EMF will be induced across the primary winding and secondary winding. Is it clear? And in generator also EMF will be induced. Is it clear? So what is the difference between EMFs induced in the transformer and a generator? Please tell me. Please try to reply through chat. What is the type of EMF induced in transformer, guys? I'm just waiting for your reply. What is the name for EMF induced in transformer? Static. Anjana Suresh. Very good, very good, very good. Okay. And what about EMF induced in generator? Not only generator, you can take any rotating machine. You are saying rotating EMF, huh? Yes, okay. Dynamic EMF. Yeah, very good, very good. Dynamic EMF, very good. Paul. Sanjeev also. Okay. See, guys, very simple. According to Faraday, what are the basic requirements for inducing EMF means? He said like this, just please try to see that slide. Okay. Yeah. See, guys, according to Faraday, the basic requirements for inducing EMF are, you tell me what are the basic requirements we need. Already it is, you can able to see on the screen. We need set of conductors. Tell me, guys, why we need set of conductors? Everybody, please tell me why we need set of conductors. I'm asking. According to Faraday, he said that the basic requirements for inducing EMF are conductors. He said, right? So tell me why we need conductors, because in that conductors only EMF will be induced, no? Yeah, very good. In that conductors only ultimately EMF is going to induce. That's why definitely we need set of conductors. Everybody knows that. And definitely we need magnetic field also. Is it clear? Yes or no? Can you please tell me why we need magnetic field? Okay, let us discuss first of all. Suppose if conductors are stationary, let us assume that if conductors are stationary, and if magnetic field is time variant, nothing but AC. If conductor is stationary and if magnetic field is time variant, then this magnetic field, time variant magnetic field will come and link with this conductors. Then EMF will be induced. Yes or no? Therefore, definitely we need conductors and we need magnetic field. So I said if conductors are stationary, if magnetic field is time variant, this time varying magnetic field will come and link with a set of conductors, EMF will be induced. To be frank, that EMF only we call it as a statically induced EMF. No problem. I'll explain the next slide. Okay, once again. Similarly, suppose if conductor is moving and magnetic field is time invariant, nothing but if it is a DC flux. Now tell me, at that time also conductor is moving, no? This moving conductor come and cuts this time invariant magnetic field, then also EMF will be induced. Yes or no? Therefore, for inducing a statical EMF or for inducing dynamical EMF, we need set of conductors and we need magnetic field. Is it clear, guys? So what about third one? Do you think that only set of conductors and magnetic field is enough for inducing EMF? No. Third point is very, 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 very important. You can give a star mark for this third point also. You can give star mark for this third point, please. Why I said this is very important means third point is very, very important. Why? Though set of conductors are there and though magnetic field is there, okay, in addition to these 2 points, third point is very, very important. What is the third point, guys? There should be rate of change of flux linkage between conductors and magnetic field. Please try to understand. There should be rate of change of flux linkage between conductors and magnetic field. Between this first point, I mean the conductors and magnetic field, rate of change of flux linkage should be there. You please try to understand here. In this equation, E proportional to d by dt of n pi. So what about n means what, guys? I'm expecting answer from you guys, please. N means what? So please tell me, n I'm asking, n means what? N means number of turns, no? Yes or no? Number of turns of a conductor, yes or no? Yeah, very good. And what about flux? Pi means what? I can say flux. Pi means what? I can say flux. And what about n pi, guys? N pi means what? I'm asking n pi. N pi is nothing but flux linkage. This n pi can be called as what? Flux linkage. Flux linkage. Flux linkage. Okay. So n means number of turns of a conductor. Pi means flux. N pi means flux linkage. N pi means flux linkage. Rate of change of d by dt of n pi. Rate of change of flux linkage should be there. Then only EMF will be induced in that conductor. Okay, guys. So immediately, I think you'll get one doubt. What is that? Sir, you said for inducing EMF we need conductors. Okay, I'm having conductors here, and I'm having magnetic field also. And third point, you said there should be rate of change of flux linkage between conductors and magnetic field. Okay, E proportional to d by dt of n pi relation is very important, guys. Please try to understand. Where n means number of turns of a conductor, pi means flux, n pi means flux linkage, d by dt of n pi should be there. Then only EMF will be induced in the conductor. Okay, guys. So please, in this, I think we did not discuss too much. I just discussed only 3 points here. So if you have any doubts, please tell me regarding this slide. Regarding this first slide, I'm asking. First slide. Any doubts? I'll repeat once again, guys. According to Faraday, tell me what are the basic requirements for inducing EMF? Set of conductors. Why? In that conductors only EMF is going to induce. And we need magnetic field. Why? Whenever time varying magnetic field will go and link with a set of conductors, then EMF will be induced. Or whenever moving conductor skirts time invariant magnetic field, then also EMF will be induced. Therefore, we need magnetic field. And third point I said, in addition to these 2 points, rate of change of flux linkage should be there between conductors and magnetic field. Then only EMF will be induced in the conductor. Okay, guys. Then you may get one doubt. Sir, how rate of change of flux linkage will occur between conductors and magnetic field? This is my question. Are you getting my question? Third point I'm saying, rate of change of flux linkage should be there between conductors and magnetic field set, right? So tell me, how can you get rate of change of flux linkage between conductors and magnetic field? That only I had given in the next slide. Please try to see here. Please try to see, top one note. See, guys, first of all, before seeing on the screen, just listen my voice. After that, you can see, okay? Between conductors and magnetic field, rate of change of flux linkage will be possible in 2 ways. Number one, related to time variation. Means if there is related to time variation, RTV, between conductors and magnetic field, then EMF will be induced. Or if there is a related space variation, RSV, between conductors and magnetic field, then also EMF will be induced. Okay, guys. So please note, what is that note I had given? Rate of change of flux linkage is possible if there is related to time variation, RTV, or related to space variation, RSV, between conductors and magnetic field. Now let me discuss RTV and RSV, then I'll give time for you to note down. Okay, RTV, guys. In related time variation, conductors are stationary. Okay, magnetic field is time variant. Okay, whenever conductors are stationary, magnetic field is time variant. Rate of change of flux linkage d by dt of n pi is possible. I'll tell you how it is possible. And EMF will be induced. That EMF only we called it as statically EMF. Okay, I think honestly, don't see screen and tell me what is the best example? What is the example for this RTV variation, guys? Tell me where conductors are stationary and where magnetic field is time variant. I'm just waiting for your reply. Tell me where conductors are stationary, where magnetic field is time variant. Transformers. Okay, very good. I think I had given here example, but anyway, I am trusting you that without seeing the screen, you are giving answer. Okay, very good. And can you please tell me? I'll ask one more question. Okay, everybody knows that in transformer conductors are stationary. That is okay. And tell me, how can you justify that magnetic field is time variant in transformer? Please. I'm just waiting for your answers. Shyam Krishna said AC supply. Very good, very good, very good. That means you mean to say that because of AC supply given to the transformer, current taken by the transformer is AC. What is the other name? I can say because of giving AC supply to the transformer means because of giving time variant voltage supply. AC means what, guys? AC means what? I can say AC. I'll write like this. This wait. Yeah. AC means like this, no? V equal to Vm sin omega t. So now guys, that means this V equal to Vm sin omega t means what? It's a time variant. You mean to say that V is a AC voltage source. You please try to observe clearly this voltage equation V equal to Vm sin omega t. It is varying with the time. That means AC supply is nothing but time variant supply only, right? Whenever time variant voltage supply is given to the transformer, okay, so current taken by the transformer is what? Once again AC, or I can say time variant. So because of current taken the transformer is AC or time variant, what is the flux produced in transformer core? Once again AC, or I can say time variant. Yes or no? That means yes, magnetic field produced in transformer core is time variant. That means because of the AC supply connected to the transformer. Very good, very good. Now here rate of change of flux linkage is possible and EMF will be induced. That EMF only we are calling it as statical EMF. Very good. Now that one I clearly explained here. Please try to observe, guys. Here, let me erase this portion so that you'll be having some clarity. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Yes. Let me use laser pointer here. Yes. Now tell me, guys, what is the voltage? What is the supply connected to the transformer? V1 time variant. TB means time variant, guys, or I can say AC. And whenever voltage source connected to the transformer primary winding, so transformer will take some current. We call that current as I mu. Okay. I'm just waiting for your answer, guys. What is the name for I mu? What is the name you can give for I mu, please? Try to respond. I'm asking, in transformer, voltage supply connected is time variant or AC. Because of that, transformer will take one particular current. I call that current as I mu. Tell me what is the name for that I mu? Magnetizing current. Very good, very good, very good. Primary winding current. It's not exactly correct, Johan Sunil, because primary current means is actually I1. It's I1 bar equals to I0 plus I2 dash. Okay, we'll discuss anyway in future. In that I0, once again, I mu and IW is there. Okay, no problem. Yes, you have to give reply only. If it is wrong or right, it's not issue. Okay, very good. So, because of time variant voltage source connected to the transformer, it will take some current. I said it's I mu. I mu means what, guys? Magnetizing current. There is no need to confuse. We'll discuss about this I mu clearly once we start a transformer subject. Okay, guys? So it will take I mu. I mu means magnetizing current. What is the use of I mu means? That name itself indicates it is used to magnetize the transformer core. That means this I mu is used to create some flux in the transformer core. Is it clear, guys? So whenever V1 is time variant, I mu also time variant or AC. Whenever current taken by the transformer I mu is time variant, tell me what is the flux produced in the transformer core? Once again, time variant or AC. Like AC means like this. I'll write like this once again for your understanding point of view. AC means, I'm just going to write, please wait. AC means, when I said pi is a time variant or AC, no, that means like this, pi equal to pi m sin omega t, like this. Okay, it's a AC meaning. It's a AC. Whenever pi is time variant AC, guys, you just try to see this relation, E proportional to d by dt of n pi. I told you pi means what? Flux. N means what? Number of turns. N pi means what? Flux linkage. So you tell me whenever pi is varying with the time here, see in this equation pi equal to pi m sin omega t, it is varying with the time, no? It is varying with time, no? Therefore, this n pi also varying with the time. That means d by dt of n pi is possible, not possible? Please tell me. Whenever pi is time variant, rate of change of flux linkage will be possible, not possible? Possible. that EMF will be induced. That EMF only we call it as a statical EMF here. Is it clear? Okay. So please, anybody, is there any doubt regarding relative time variation? Please let me know. If there is any, if you are having doubt, please ask. I'll explain once again. Before going to RSV, in RTV, I said conductors are stationary, magnetic field is time variant, and d by dt of n pi is possible. Why it is possible means here pi is time variant or AC, because I mu is time variant or AC. So d by dt of n pi is possible, I said. So please tell me, those who are having doubts regarding RTV, I'll explain once again. There is no need to hesitate. Regarding RTV, if you are having doubt, please ask. I'll wait for 3 seconds for your reply. Otherwise, I'll think that you understood and I'll go for RSV. Yeah, can I go for RSV variation? At least try to respond for this. Very good, very good, very good. So guys, now tell me, one more thing. Tell me, I said in transformer, because of relative time variation, rate of change of flux linkage will be possible. EMF will be induced. That EMF only we called it as statical EMF. Tell me, what is that? I mean, how can you find out direction of statical EMF? Don't see screen and tell me. Don't see screen and tell me. How can you find direction of statical EMF which is induced in transformer? By using which law or by using which rule? Very good, Abhijit. See, note I had given clearly. Please try to see this note. Direction of E statically, which is induced in transformer, is given by Lenz's law. See, regarding Lenz's law, we'll explain clearly once we start the transformers chapter. Okay, guys. Simply, Lenz's law means effect opposes changes in cause. See, we'll discuss separately as a topic about Lenz's law if we start transformers subject. Is it clear, everybody? Okay. Now let me discuss RSV. Guys, I'll ask one question. In relative space variation, conductors will be moving, guys. Conductors will be moving. And magnetic field is time invariant. See, what about RTV, guys? I said conductors are stationary and magnetic field is time variant. In RSV, conductors are moving, magnetic field is time invariant. So, some people may get one doubt. Sir, in RTV you said because pi is time variant, like I told already, time variant means what, guys? Let me take one equation. Time variant means pi equal to, what is the relation I taken? Like pi equal to pi m sin omega t, like that we had taken, sir, in RTV, because it is AC flux. That's why whenever pi is varying with the time, you said d by dt of n pi is possible, like that you said. Very good. Now my question is, guys, in relative space variation, what about magnetic field time invariant? Okay, can I call magnetic field time invariant as a DC flux? At least, please tell me with your chart. Can I call magnetic field time invariant means DC magnetic field? Please. Yes or no? Very good, very good. Very simple, no? Time variant means AC flux. Time invariant means DC flux. Okay. So here I said in relative space variation, magnetic field is time invariant. Now tell me, guys, whenever magnetic field is time invariant here, if it is not varying with the time, then you may get one doubt. Sir, how are d by dt of n pi possible? Sir, no, mathematically you said d by dt of n pi. Whenever pi is a function of time, then d by dt of n pi will be possible. Sir, no. Here your doubt is in RSV, magnetic field is time invariant, no? Then how can you say that d by dt of n pi possible? Tell me, anybody? I said I was one statement. You please try to justify that. In relative space variation, though magnetic field is in relative space variation, though magnetic field is time invariant, rate of change of flux linkage will be possible. This is a statement I'm just going to give. Okay, please try to justify the statement. Anybody? Why? By relative motion. Okay, very good, Sanju. That means indirectly you are saying that conductors are moving. Yes or no, guys? Whenever conductors are moving, at that time magnetic field is time invariant. Then also, conductors are moving. Magnetic field, though it is time invariant, these moving conductors go and cut this time invariant magnetic field. EMF will be induced. Is it clear? So that one had given here, though magnetic field is time invariant, still d by dt of n pi is possible and E dynamically is induced. So what is the reason? Since conductors are moving, this is very important. Conductors are moving. This is the main reason why EMF will be induced in RSV, though magnetic field is time invariant. Okay, guys. Tell me example. I can say rotating machine. Or if you take any rotating machines, alternator, DC generator. Okay. Okay, I'll ask one question before explaining last note. Tell me, I said in all rotating machines, dynamic EMF will be induced. Dynamic EMF is also called as, one more name is it, motionally induced EMF. I'll ask one question, guys. Please try to interact. You said in all rotating machines, dynamic EMF will be induced, right? You said. Now tell me, let me take example alternator. In alternator, please justify these 2 points. Conductors are moving. Magnetic field is time invariant. Tell me why conductors are moving in a generator. I can say very simple. Because to the generator we are giving a mechanical input. That means we are rotating conductors. That is justified. Okay, clearly. And tell me, how can you say that magnetic field is time invariant in alternator? I am waiting for your answer, please. In alternator, or you can take DC generator. Okay. Conductors are moving means because of a prime mover will move the conductors. That's okay. And I'm asking magnetic field is time invariant, you said, right? Tell me, how can you justify this statement? Magnetic field, how it is time invariant in alternators and DC generators? If you are giving answer, very good. If you are not getting answers, no problem, because in future we'll discuss. Tell me. Very good, very good, very good, Joy. Very good. I'll be Joy, very good. Very good, Amma. Very good. This excitation, very good. Sanju, very good. That means, see guys, try to understand. If you are not able to understand, no problem, guys. I'll explain once again this in alternator and DC generator. In alternator, if you take, if you see, field winding will be there. Whereas in DC generator also, field winding will be there, no? To that field winding, we'll be giving DC supply for excitation. In a DC generator also, we are giving DC supply to the field winding. In a AC generator also, we'll be giving a DC supply only to the field winding. I'll give reason also. Since DC supply given to the field winding, so because of DC excitation, magnetic field is DC, or I can say time invariant. Okay, guys. So though magnetic field is time invariant, because conductors are moving, these conductors will go and cut this time invariant flux, EMF will be induced. Okay, guys. And I said in all rotating machine, a dynamic EMF will be induced. What about this last note? Just like direction of static EMF is given by, said, Lenz law, like that here also last note, direction of E dynamic is given by what here? Let me remove this. Direction of E dynamic, I said, is given by Fleming's right hand rule. What is that? Fleming's right hand rule. Fleming's right hand rule. Direction of E dynamic is given by Fleming's right hand rule. Okay, guys. Okay. I think let me discuss. Let me chat with you for some time. After that, I'll go to next topics, guys, because it's a online class now. You'll be having some bore. So see, guys, I'm having some problem with this cursor. No problem. After today's class, I'll rectify this problem, because I'm using one, this pen tab I'm using. So here some problem is there. So no problem. I'll rectify this problem in next class. Okay. So let me ask one question here. Let me interact with you for some time. So guys, I think in online class, you used to note down notes, or used to copy these slides? Generally, I'm asking. Remaining subjects, how we did, if you take power sessions, whatever, is faculty is giving time for you to note down? Please answer by charting yes or no, like that. Is faculty is giving time for you to note down? Please try to reply. Very good, very good. Thank you, Ruben. Okay, Yes, then I can open first slide. I'll give time to you. Don't worry. Please just note down clearly. Okay. So this is about the first slide. Okay. You just keep heading just keep heading electrical machines under that basics. It seems to be one slide, but simple, no? I think 4 lines only. Okay. So just note down this. After completion of your notes, please try to chart by typing complete like that. C by simply typing C. C means I can conclude that you completed. Okay. Yeah, very good. And in the meanwhile, those who are having doubts regarding discussion, whatever we just made till now, you can try to ask your doubts. So simple. You just try to note down your notes, and at the same time, just listen my words also, guys. Will you share a PDF copy? You are saying, right? I think PDF copy means it's not actually. I just wrote on the screen. I have to ask your institute person so that I can come to know. So for today's class, you just please try to note down. Huh? So I'll try to explain. I'll try to tell you about PDF, all those things in next class. Okay, right? See, guys. Okay. You please keep on noting your notes and at the same time listen my words. Okay. Still now, maybe it seems to be 20 minutes like that. We did not learn anything. Let me say frankly, because I explained only one line. What is that? According to Faraday, basic requirements are set of conductors, magnetic field, and if there is rate of change of flux linkage, EMF will be induced. And I said how rate of change of flux linkage will be possible means that is possible by RTV or by RSV. RTV means conductors are stationary, magnetic field is a time variant, rate of change of flux linkage will be possible, EMF will be induced. That EMF only we call it as static EMF, example transformer. Direction of E static is given by Lenz law. And in RSV, conductors are moving, magnetic field is time invariant. Though magnetic field is time invariant, still rate of change of flux linkage will be possible, EMF will be induced because conductors are moving. That EMF only we call it as dynamic EMF or motional EMF. Direction of dynamic is given by EMF is given by Fleming's right hand rule. Okay, guys. Okay, very good. I think, can I ask one question to you guys? Please try to reply by typing yes like that. Can I ask one question regarding whatever discussion we just made till now? Please. Very good, very good. See, guys, in RTV, conductors are stationary. Magnetic field is time variant. Okay. Then rate of change of flux linkage occurred and EMF induced. Very good. In RSV, conductors are moving, whereas magnetic field is time invariant. There also rate of change of flux linkage is possible. Okay. And EMF is induced. Now I'm asking a question. Suppose if conductors are stationary and if magnetic field is time invariant, now tell me at that time, do we have rate of change of flux linkage? Please try to understand my question. If conductors are stationary and if magnetic field is time invariant, do we have rate of change of flux linkage between conductors and magnetic field? Yes, no, very good, Sanjeev, very good. Surabhi, very good. Surabhi Bala, very good. So can you give me one best example where conductors are stationary and magnetic field is time invariant, guys? Can you give me one example where conductors are stationary and magnetic field is time invariant? Just waiting for your answer. Yes. Alternator. No, not exactly. Not exactly. So you make it one doubt. Alternator, why you said Bharat? Actually, you said that sir, in alternator we are placing field winding. You may think like this: field winding placed on the stator, like that. You are thinking, right? Bharat, you are thinking like that. Are you thinking like that? In alternator, why you said alternator? Because field winding is on, sir. In field winding, we are placing on the stator, and I had given DC supply to the field winding. Magnetic field is time invariant. and a conductor are stationary, like that you are saying. Okay, but not exactly, Bharat. I'll tell you reason also. I'll give reason in alternator, not exactly. So please try to go for next answer, next answer. Anybody? HVDC transmission line. HVDC transmission line. HVDC transmission line means how can you? Don't it is different. HVDC transmission means you don't include power systems in our electrical machine subject. Maybe there are some relation is there between machines and machines and the power systems, but not exactly. HVDC transmission. I'm asking about machine, guys. Okay, I'll give clue also, guys. I'm asking about machine. Ruben Thomas, motors. Motors. Can you please tell me which type of motor, Ruben? DC generator, Abhijit. Okay, I'll give answer for that. Synchronous motors. Oh, wait. Relay. Okay, I'm asking about electrical machines point of view. You can reply, right? Okay, so those who said DC motor. Wait. Induction motor. How can it comes? I mean, it's not. Induction motor means how can you get a DC magnetic field, guys? How can you get time invariant magnetic field? No problem. Though your answer is not correct, please keep on charting like that only. Okay. See, guys, I'll give answer for step by step for your answers. Whatever you given answers, I'm just giving a reply for that. I think somebody given reply DC motor. Okay. See, guys, in DC motor, don't think that I'm just making you to confuse. Anyway, I'll discuss about DC machines in after completion of synchronous machine. We'll discuss DC machine. Okay, you said DC machine, right? DC motor, you said. Tell me, guys, in DC motor, where you are placing armature winding? One second, I'm asking in DC motor, where you are placing armature winding? Rotor, shaft. Okay, very good. Okay. So tell me who said answer DC motor? Is it Abhijit or somebody? DC motor means, guys, I think regarding field winding point of view said that, regarding armature winding point of view said that I need some clarity from you. Those who said DC motor and DC generator, tell me regarding which type of winding you said that, field winding or armature winding? Maybe you have said about field winding. Yeah, very good, Abhijit. But not exactly, Bharat, Abhijit. I'll give explanation for that in future. The best example where conductors are stationary and magnetic field is time invariant, nothing but simple transformer which is operated on DC supply. Is it clear? Is my answer is clear, guys? Transformer, wherever conductors, in transformer conductors are stationary, everybody knows that. And if I give DC supply to the transformer, which type of flux will be produced in transformer core? Is it time invariant or is it time variant? It is time invariant, right? Yes or no? That means transformer operated on DC supply. That is the example I can say where conductors are stationary and where magnetic field is time invariant. Okay. Okay. Your answer also good. You said something, right? What is that? You said field winding, something you said. But I mean to say why I said that answer is not correct means somebody told if conductors are stationary and field winding is time invariant, rate of change of flux is not possible, like you said, right? If rate of change of flux is not possible, EMF will be zero. EMF will be zero. Okay. So I mean regarding that point of view, I'm asking a question. So your answer should be, transformer operated on DC supply. There is no need to confuse. I'll explain the topic also. Today only it will come. You please wait. I think what about first slide, guys? I think you complete, right? So you please try to note down second slide. I think you are graduates, right? You please try to note down in short form. Don't write flux linkage means FLU, X, LI, N, K, G, all those things. Okay, simply flux linkage means N pi. Flux means pi. Number of turns means N. Like that, you please try to write. So this is about second slide. I think second slide you completed, not completed, just now sir. Completed. Very good. Very good, Ruben. Very good, Thomas. Very good, Anjana Suresh. Very good, very good. Very good. I think I still now I opened first slide only. How come you copied second slide also? I think you wrote it on your own, right? Very good. It's a very good habit. Very good, very good. Very good. Yeah, guys. Can I go for next? I mean, third slide. Johan, Sunil, very good. See, guys, one thing let me give clarity for you. Okay. So please, everybody, listen carefully my words, which I'm just going to say now. Okay, guys, please listen. Just give me 1-2 minutes. Please listen my words. See, guys, electrical machine subject, generally people think that it's very difficult. But seriously, I'm saying it's very easy subject. And I'll make your subject very easy. For that, what I'm doing is, first of all, let me take basics for some time. Next, I'll start transformers. Next, induction. Next, synchronous. Next, DC machine. Okay. See, suppose if I start transformers, while explaining transformers only, I'll be solving previous gate questions also in the class itself. But don't expect questions to be solved in the first classes only. Why means, for solving questions also, you need to cover some concept. Without covering some concept, it is not possible to solve questions. Okay, you please wait for some classes. So no doubt, if you take the transformers, after completion of transformers, before starting induction machine, I'll ask you whether questions from transformers regarding gate point of view, those questions I explained or not, I'll ask you. If you say yes, then only I can go for induction machine. That means it's my responsibility to complete previous gate questions. Okay, and I'll make your subject very easy, but don't expect questions from starting class onwards, because we need to cover some basics, we need to cover some concepts, then only you can enter into problems. Okay, can I go for third slide, guys? Can I go for third slide? Please give answer by yes. Very good, very good. Thank you, Sanju. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay. See third slide. See, guys. Still now explained about RTB and RSV. RTB and RSV. Now let me discuss here generator principle. Let me explain about a generator principle. Okay. So very simple. Everybody knows that what is the function of generator, guys? Tell me, what is the function of generator? Which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. That everybody knows that. Please try to see this laser line, what I'm just focusing here. Generator principle. It converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. That everybody knows it. Even a child can tell answer. Okay. Generator converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. That is okay. But can you please tell me in generator principle I'm asking? Very simple, guys. Try to understand. When a moving conductor cuts magnetic field, to be frank, time invariant magnetic field. What is that? When a moving conductor cuts magnetic field, an EMF or current is induced in that conductor. Is it clear, guys? Please try to see this statement. When a moving conductor cuts the magnetic field, an EMF or current is induced in that conductor. Okay. In this statement, guys, can you please tell me what about this moving term? This moving term indicates what? I'm expecting answer from you guys. I'm asking question. Moving, yeah. In this principle, moving term indicates what? Moving term indicates what I'm asking. Very simple. Moving conductor means it indicates that input mechanical energy of your generator. Is it clear, guys? Moving indicates that we are giving a mechanical energy to this generator. That is the meaning, right? And what about this EMF, or I can say current? Whatever I wrote on the board, on the screen. Tell me, EMF or current is indication of your output energy from generator, nothing but electrical energy. Is it clear? When a moving conductor, this moving term is very important. This indicates mechanical energy of your generator, which indicates input energy of your generator, Kurt's magnetic field, and EMF or current is induced in that conductor. Means this EMF or current indicates output energy of generator, nothing but electrical energy of a generator. Okay, guys, is it clear? Okay, now let me see this figure. It's very simple. Let me see this figure. Okay. This is nothing but North Pole and South Pole. North Pole, South Pole, guys. North Pole, South Pole. See, guys, in generator, if you take alternator or if you take a DC generator, whatever, I think some people already given answer. What is that? In generator, sir, we will be using field winding, sir. Why we are using field winding? For creating magnetic field, sir. So to that field, which type of supply we are giving? DC supply, sir. Very good. So because of giving DC supply to the field winding, flux will be produced. And flux lines are going like this. See, what is the property of flux lines, guys? Tell me, flux lines always starts from which surface pole? I need answer from you guys. Always flux line starts from, very good, very good. It will start from, see, like this, North Pole surface, this one, right? North Pole surface, I'm just drawing North Pole surface. Everybody, please try to see, North Pole surface. So always flux line starts from North Pole surface. It will go towards what? South Pole surface. This is the property of flux lines. Always flux line starts from North Pole surface. It will go towards South Pole surface. Okay. So let us assume that flux lines are going from North Pole to South Pole like this. Okay, guys. And what about this white color? Whatever this is about conductor, right? I'm just taking this one as a conductor. Okay, conductor. So please tell me, guys. I said already, for inducing EMF, we need set of conductors. Yes, I'm having set of conductors here. I'm having conductor. Just wait. Okay. Everybody on the board? Yeah. So I said for inducing EMF, we need set of conductors. Yes, this is nothing but conductor. And we need magnetic field also. Yes, magnetic field is there. Flux lines, because of giving DC supply to the field winding. I cannot show you field winding here, guys. Don't confuse. Let us assume that DC supply is given to the field winding, and flux lines produced, they are going from North Pole surface towards South Pole surface like this. There is no need to confuse. Okay. Otherwise, just forget all those things. From North Pole to South Pole, flux lines are going. Simple. Up to this only you have to remember. Okay. From North Pole to South Pole, flux lines are going. And what about this one? It's a conductor. Okay. And I am just moving this conductor in this direction. This red color arrow mark, guys. I am just moving this conductor in this direction by holding two ends of conductor. You please assume that you are moving the conductor in this red color direction. Red color direction. This V means what, guys? With this velocity, you are moving conductor. V means linear velocity of the conductor. With this velocity, you are moving this conductor in this direction. So please, this red color arrow mark indicates what? Direction of motion of the conductor. Is it clear? Is it clear? Please try to respond by pressing, by charting yes like that. Okay. With this, with this linear velocity, I'm just moving this conductor in this direction. Okay, guys. And what about this arrow marks? This arrow marks nothing but direction of flux lines, I can say, or direction of magnetic flux density, I can say, right? Flux density, I can say. So tell me this arrow mark, this I can say green color arrow marks indicates direction of flux, direction of flux. Okay, guys. And whenever this moving conductor, I'm just moving conductor with this velocity, and this moving conductor curves this magnetic field, EMF will be induced in this conductor, okay. This blue color arrow mark indicates what, guys? Direction of EMF, or I can say direction of EMF. So can you please tell me what is the type, what is the name I can give for this EMF? Dynamically or statically? Dynamically, right? Why dynamically? I told you, please try to observe, please try to remember previous slide. In RSV, relative space variation, conductors are moving, magnetic fields time invariant. Okay, EMF will be induced. That EMF we call it as dynamic EMF. In generator also, no, same, no. The conductor is moving, magnetic field is time invariant. So because of this relative space variation, dynamic EMF will be induced here. Is it clear, guys? So this blue color arrow mark indicates what? Direction of E dynamically or current, I can say. Okay. So now tell me, this E dynamically formula, dynamically induced EMF formula is given by like this: B L V sin theta. What is that? B L V sin theta. Where B means what, guys? B means what? magnetic flux density in Weber per meter square or Tesla. LE means what, guys? LE. Here is very important, guys. Please try to understand. LE means what? Everybody, don't see this row, whatever I wrote on the screen. Please try to reply from your side. LE means, do you want me to take from here to here entire length I should take, or which length I have to take? I'm expecting answer from you guys. I'm asking in this LE formula. LE means no doubt it's length. But I'm asking question, length means you should take entire length or you should take some portion of length. If it is some portion, tell me what is that some portion. Please response. I'm expecting answer from you guys. LE means, what is the meaning for this LE? It's not, do you want me to take entire length from here to here, or some portion of the conductor only should take under green color line? Very good. Don't say green color, blue color, Bharat. Okay, very good, no problem. Just kidding. I see. It's not green color. Is not like very good. Yes, the length of the conductor which is under the influence of magnetic field means I just shown green color for flux lines. Okay, so whatever the length which is under the influence of magnetic, this much I can say. From here, let me write here, from here to here, this portion we should take. This one can be taken as LE. Okay, guys. So LE means what I said, effective length of the conductor, or, so let me use the laser pointer, you can understand. Yeah, LE means what, guys? Effective length of the conductor or length of the conductor which is under the influence of magnetic field. So units for this LE is in meters. Okay, guys. And what about B in this formula? Sorry, B explained magnetic flux density. LE explained. V means what I said, linear velocity of the conductor. No. Units what? Meters per second. Very good. And what about theta, guys? Theta. It's an angle between V and capital B. V and capital B. Okay. So it is electrical degrees. In this formula, B means magnetic flux density in Weber per meter square, Tesla. LE means effective length of the conductor or length of the conductor which is under the influence of magnetic field. V means linear velocity of the conductor. Theta is the angle between small v and capital B. Okay, guys. Okay, now tell me in this figure, what is the angle between small v and capital B, guys? What in this present figure I'm asking. In this present figure, what is the angle between small v and capital B? And it is very good, very good. Suppose depending on the angle, your EMF value will vary. Suppose if theta is more, EMF will be more. If theta is less, EMF will be less. That anyway we'll discuss clearly about in future. Okay, guys. E dynamic formula BLV sin theta. This only I just simply have taken this on figure one, just I taken one image for understanding you, for making you to understand. Okay, guys. Here, see, guys, because of generator principle, you said dynamic EMF will be induced. Very good. And we already know that direction of dynamic EMF is given by Fleming's right hand rule. Fleming's right hand rule. So please try to show your thumb, please, thumb, forefinger and center finger, such that they should be in mutual perpendicular. I know you people, everybody knows all those basics, but I should repeat all those things, because if you understand basics, then subject become very easy for you. Okay, guys. So please try to show thumb, forefinger and center finger mutually perpendicular. Okay. And here thumb indicates what, guys? Motion of the conductor, mechanical energy. So tell me, motion of the conductor means what? Mechanical energy only, no. Forefinger means what? Forefinger means this one. Direction of magnetic field, nothing but magnetic energy. So center finger or middle finger, this one, center finger and middle finger indicates direction of EMF or current, which indicates electrical energy. So please tell me, direction of dynamic EMF is given by Fleming's right hand rule. And I told in Fleming's right hand rule, thumb means mechanical energy, forefinger means magnetic energy, center finger means electrical energy. Is it clear? Okay. So I'll ask one question. Can I ask one question, please? Can I ask one question, please? Say, very good, very good. So guys, yeah, very good. Okay. Can you please tell me in electrical notation, if you want me to show direction of current, I think direction of this center finger, so center finger means direction of EMF only, no? Yes, I'm asking a question. if you want me to show direction of current coming from the board, you have to show like this, no? This arrow, this center finger should be coming from the board. Okay. So if see, don't confuse with this figure and with this figure. In this figure, whatever this V is, but I mean most of the conductor like this only. And here in this figure, I had taken the flux lines means from left to right. I had taken from left to right. I had taken. Okay. Whereas in this figure, this image, this forefinger means direction of magnetic field is from right to left or left to right. Please try to reply. In this figure which I just draw on the screen, it is flux lines are going from left to right. Whereas in this figure, what about flux lines? I'm asking, is it right to left or left to right? Right to left or left to right? Right to left. Very good. Very good. So because flux lines are going from right to left, he got center finger coming from the laptop or coming from the mobile. You just try to show like this on your screen, please. On your screen, thumb should be like this, forefinger should be right to left, and center finger means it is coming towards you. Is it correct? Everybody. Yeah, very good. See guys, if you show like this, thumb out upwards, forefinger right to left, and center finger should be coming towards you. Yes or no? Yeah, very good. Towards you means it is coming from the laptop screen, or it is coming from the mobile screen, or it is coming towards you. That only we can represent as dot. Okay guys? Okay, very good. If you really understood, tell me in this figure, what is the direction of current? Yeah, what is the direction of EMF or current induced? Tell me. Please use this thumb and forefinger. Tell me. Your direction of center finger is going I'm asking direction of center finger is going into this laptop screen or coming from the laptop screen? It is going into the mobile screen or very good. I think you are very familiar with the online class, guys, because simply you are typing in a shortcut form into like that. Huh? Okay, very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good. See, now, see, if you place thumb like this, if you place forefinger from left to right in this figure, left to right, I said, left to right, then direction of center finger will be, no, it will be into the laptop screen or into the mobile screen. That means what? Direction of current entering into the mobile screen, or I can say direction of current going away from the observer. That only will show it as cross, which we'll discuss in future. Okay, cross. Very good. Is it clear with this slide? Yes or no? Please note down. Can I give time for you to note down, or you already noted down now? Completed. Hey, we are very fast. Yeah, your sir told. I think Satish sir told that you are very fast, but I don't know this much faster. Very good. Surabhi Bala, very good, Amma. What is this? TCR1 something E205. Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Yeah, completed. Suppose I think so many people completed. Is there anybody not completed? Let me know so that I'll give time. If you are not replying, I'll think that you completed, then I'll go for next slide. I'll give 2 seconds. If you are not getting answer from you, I'll think that you completed. I'll go for next one. Yes. Let me go for next slide, guys. Next slide. Very good. See, guys, I just now we saw generator principle, right? Now let me see motor principle. So what is the function of motor? It converts electrical energy to mechanical energy. The everybody knows that. Motor converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. If you want me to say principle, you see, when a current carrying conductor, let me take a conductor and let me send some current into that conductor. See, if you see this example, guys, this is a conductor and I just sent current like this. Okay, is placed in a magnetic field. So in this example, this north pole, this south pole, you know, always flux lines will be going from north pole to south pole. You see this arrow, these flux lines are going from north to south. So they are going from left to right. If you want me to show, yes, this blue color magnetic field is like this. Okay, and direction of current it is entering like it is I mean it is direction of current is like this in this conductor. If you see, if you please try to place your this conductor on your mobile screen, you know, vertical like that, it is current is coming from the mobile screen. See, this is the direction of current coming from the mobile screen. Okay, when a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it experiences force or torque. So I can say this thumb indicates direction of force or torque, I can say. Okay, guys. So now let me conclude. Direction of force experienced because of motor action is given by what? Fleming's left hand rule. Simply I can read FLH rule. What is that? FLH rule. FLH rule. Okay. So I'll ask one question now. So I think direction of force experienced because of motor action is given by Fleming's left hand rule. If you see Fleming's left hand rule, I already told you center finger indicates direction of current. Okay, nothing but electrical energy. Forefinger indicates direction of magnetic field, or I can say magnetic energy. Thumb indicates direction of force or motion of conductor. I can say mechanical energy. Okay, guys, very good. Now I'll ask one question, guys. Tell me, you told me that in a motor, because of motor action, you said that force or torque will produce, right? Tell me, what is the name of the torque which is produced because of motor action? I'm expecting answer from you guys. What is the name of the torque? Oh, it's not rotating magnetic field, guys. It's not RMF. I'm asking about torque name. What is the name for torque which is produced because of motor action? I think you know you are having two torques, right? Prime mover torque and electromagnetic torque. Did you listen that words anytime? Please, have you listened those words? Prime mover torque and electromagnetic torque. Yes. Tell me, Bharat, where prime mover torque will be there? In generator. Yes or no, Bharat? Yes or no? Please let me know. Yes. Yeah, that means in generator, if you are giving mechanical energy, no. That means by using prime mover, we are giving mechanical energy. So that whatever mechanical energy you are giving to the generator, that we are giving the form of torque, I can say prime mover torque. We are rotating the conductor in a generator by using prime mover. So prime mover torque. So prime mover torque is a term related to generator. Whereas torque which is produced in a motor, that torque can be called as electromagnetic torque, or I can say interaction torque, or I can say counter torque. Like there's so many names are there for that. Okay, what is their names? Electromagnetic torque, interaction torque, or counter torque. There is no need to note down. There is no need to note down. It will come in future when we'll be discussing about synchronous machine. It will come. Okay, guys. So electromagnetic torque is related to electrical quantity, whereas prime mover torque is related to mechanical quantity. Prime mover torque, that word will come in only generator, whereas electromagnetic torque will come by default in a motor. Okay, guys, right. Now this about center finger, forefinger, thumb, and I think this I already explained it. Cross means what? If you want me to show direction of current entering into the desktop or into the mobile screen, that I have to show with cross, no? Okay, that cross means what? Direction of current entering into the desktop or direction of current going away from the observer. It is going away from you. If it is going into the desktop, means it is going away from you. Is it clear, guys? Everybody? Yes or no? Direction of current entering into the desktop is going away from you, right? Yeah, very good. Now dot means what? Coming from the desktop or coming from the mobile screen. That means it's coming towards you, right? Yes or no? Towards you. See, guys, our electrical machine subject is such that direction is very important here. That's why I'm just explaining very slowly. Okay, you may think that, sir, you are going very slow. No, I'm not going very slow. Basics only I'll be going very slow. So you'll come to know. Okay, if I start subject, you'll come to know. But here basics are there, so you should know cross, dot, TM, TPM, FRH, FLH, all those things clearly. If you are very familiar with this, then we can start the subject. We can go also very fastly. Okay, guys. So okay, please note down this third slide. If it is completed, please try to let me know. Yes. In the meanwhile, those who are having doubts, they can ask doubts through your chat box, please. Don't hesitate to ask doubts. Is it completed? Let me know, guys. Completed, Vishnu. Okay. Amruta. Okay. Abhijit. Okay. Very good. Anjana Suresh. Very good. You are very active here. For online classes, generally people will be very lazy, but you are very active. Why? What is the reason? May I know? What is the reason why you are very active, you guys? Please let me know. Nobody giving response. I said you are very active. New class, that's why. First class, that's why. What, Joseph? Paul? Your class made us active, sir. Oh, Shweta, very good, ma. Almost 3 to 4 months. What for what? Interest in this subject, very good. Please maintain this interest for coming, classes also. Don't be very active in the first class and don't be lazy in the second or third class like that. No doubt, I'll make you active. It's my responsibility. I should teach you electrical machine subject clearly, and I should make you to solve all previous gate questions without any doubt. Okay. No, there is no need to worry. Okay, guys. If you want me, I'll consult your, Satisha like that. I'll give my number also, guys, to you guys. You can call me and you can ask any doubts also. I'll give my personal number also. Okay, guys. I'll give my personal number also. Don't worry. Yeah. Can I go for fourth slide? Yes. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, ma. Thank you. Thank you, Shweta. Right. Let me go for next slide. Okay, guys. Some more base. Let me see right hand thumb rule. Right hand thumb rule. It's very simple. Everybody knows that. Right hand thumb rule means, guys, please see if you take a straight conductor like this. What is that? If you take a straight conductor like this, let me use laser pointer so that you can see clearly. Right. If you take a straight conductor like this, guys, like this, is a straight conductor. Wait. It is a straight conductor. Okay. Tell me this straight conductor. You hold the straight conductor like this. Okay. Your thumb should be like this and wrapped fingers. These remaining 4 fingers, I can say curling like that, or I can say wrapped fingers. Wrapped, WRAPPED. Okay, guys. So please hold like this. This thumb indicates direction of current. Tell me, guys, current is going upwards or downwards? Up or down? Please, give reply. Up or down? If it is up, please try to give me U, or down means D. Your thumb should be direction of current. For straight conductors, in this figure, guys, I'm asking you, please, I'm just waiting for your answer, guys. Up. Very good, very good, very good. You may think that, sir, it's visible, no, sir. Then why you are asking like that? You will ask. Okay, but why I'm asking is for some reason is there, guys. You just wait, because your total electrical machine subject is in our hand. Fleming's right hand rule, Fleming's left hand rule, right hand thumb rule. Everything is in our hand. Suppose if you are not using your hand properly, so instead of cross, we'll get answer dot. Instead of dot, we'll get answer cross. Instead of right to left, you'll get you'll get left to right. This is a problem with electrical machines. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So please try to be very careful. Yes, this thumb indicates direction of current. Yeah, guys. See, in this straight conductor, let us assume the direction of current is going upwards. Thumb should be the direction of current, and this wrapped fingers. You please tell me, wrapped fingers means indicates direction of flux. I said, in right hand thumb rule, you hold conductor like this. Thumb indicates direction of current, and wrapped fingers indicates direction of magnetic field. Okay, guys. Tell me, in this case, direction of current means, as I said, that thumb is direction of current, it is upwards. And wrapped fingers, this remaining 4 fingers, you are holding like this, right? This wrapped fingers indicates direction of magnetic field. Tell me, is it anti-clockwise or clockwise? I'm just expecting answer from you guys. Counterclock or clock, I'm asking. Very good, very good, very good. Anti-clock, very good, Amma. Very good, very good. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's anti-clockwise. That means if you take a straight conductor, if your current is going upwards, direction of magnetic field will be in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, guys. Suppose if you hold like this, direction of current, if it is going downwards like this, okay, thumb indicates direction of current, wrapped fingers indicate direction of magnetic field. Tell me rapid finger direction of flux. It is clockwise or anti-clockwise? It's a clockwise or anti-clockwise? Okay, clockwise, right? Yes, very good. Clockwise, very good. So ultimately, thumb indicates direction of current. Rapid fingers indicates direction of magnetic field. This is for straight conductors. This is for what? Straight. Sorry, this is for straight conductors. As I told you guys, some problem is there with cursor. No doubt. By tomorrow class, I'll rectify this. Please excuse me, everybody. Okay. So some problem is there with this pen tab. Okay. So no doubt by tomorrow I'll rectify this problem. Okay. Right. So guys, this is for straight conductor. Suppose for circular conductor. So for circular conductor, if you apply right hand thumb rule, guys, same thing. Once again, same only. But the problem is you can interchange your fingers. Okay. Previously for straight conductors, I said thumb indicates direction of current. Rapid fingers indicates direction of magnetic field. I said. Now here, rapid fingers indicate direction of current. Thumb indicates direction of flux. So in this figure, tell me rapid fingers. I say direction of current. Is it anti-clock or clock? Anti-clock, right? Please, for a circular conductor, if you hold like this, rapid fingers indicate direction of current, which is anti-clockwise direction, and the thumb indicates what? Direction of flux. It is upwards. Next, if you take if you suppose if current is flowing in a clockwise direction like this, so your rapid fingers indicate direction of current, and thumb indicate direction of flux, which is downwards. Okay. So simple conclusion. For straight conductors, thumb means current, rapid fingers means direction of magnetic field. Whereas for circular conductors, rapid fingers means direction of current, thumb means direction of magnetic field. You can interchange your fingers, no problem. Anyway, if you start transformer subject, they can understand clearly. Okay, guys? Right. So please, next. Now, please let me ask a simple question. Can you please tell me what about Faraday's first law? Faraday's first law. I'm asking about Faraday's first law. See, guys, very simple. I think whenever we started class today, if you observe clearly, I told, according to Faraday, first statement, if you observe clearly, according to first Faraday, I told, basic requirements for inducing EMF are what I said? Conductors, magnetic field, and if there is RTV or RSV between conductors and magnetic field, then EMF will be induced. Yes or no? So Faraday's first law means simply I can say that like this. Faraday's first law simply tells us how EMF will be induced. That's it. How EMF will be induced is given by Faraday's first law. And what about Faraday's second law? How much EMF induced? That means magnitude of induced EMF is given by Faraday's second law. Whereas Faraday's first law means it tells us how EMF is induced. Faraday's second law means it tells us how much EMF is induced. Okay. So see, tell me how EMF will be induced. I'm asking about Faraday's first law. I already told in the first starting point only. EMF induced in a conductor if there is, here please slow down here, if there is here E should be there. Yeah. If there is RTV or RSV between conductors and magnetic field. Okay, guys. If you are having conductors and magnetic field, and if there is a RTV or RSV between conductors and magnetic field, then EMF will be induced. That is given to Faraday's first law. So it tells us simply how EMF will be induced. Faraday's second law means what? Yes, it tells us how much EMF is induced. How much EMF is induced. Okay, guys. The magnitude of induced EMF is given by Faraday's second law. Okay. Please note down this slide. After completion, let me know, guys. Let me know if it is completed. Let me try to note down this slide so that I can go for next one. Yes, I can go for next one. Yes. See guys, before starting transformers, guys, let me explain one special case. I already told you what is that. Let's wait. Yeah, wait. Yeah, this one. Everybody. Yeah, can you able to see? Please, once again, please answer from you guys, please, just so that I'll be having some clarity. Yeah. See, I think we explained about RTV and RSV. Yes or no? Now tell me in RTV, what about conductor's position? I think now we cannot able to see screen. Now, those who are giving right answer now, I'll assume that they are very, they understood really. In RTV variation, I'm asking about conductor's position. I mean, they are stationary or moving. Very good, very good, very good, Amma. Very good, Rose. Very good, Vijay. Very good. Okay. And that means in RTV, conductors are stationary and magnetic field position, please. Is it time variant or time invariant? TV or TIV? Very good, Vishnu. Very good, Vishnu. Very good. That means in RTV, whenever conductors are stationary, magnetic field is time variant, rate of change of flux linkage will be there. EMF will be induced. And you call that EMF as static EMF. Yes or no? Please. Yes or no? In RTV, conductors are stationary, magnetic field is a time variant, rate of change of flux linkage is there, EMF is induced, we call that EMF static EMF. Very good, Amma. You don't, scold me, so why you are keeping on asking? Because since you are not in front of me physically, if you are keeping on charting so that you'll be having some interest. Are you understanding why I'm asking all those things? Yes or no? Otherwise, if you are very good, Abhijit, thank you. Right. Yeah, very good. Yeah, now tell me. See, in RTV, conductors are stationary, magnetic field is time variant. So rate of change of flux linkage will be there. EMF will be induced. Okay. So that EMF only we call it as the static EMF. And tell me, guys, direction of static EMF is given by what I said? Lenz's law. Very good. Now my question about RSV. In RSV, what about conductor's position? Once again, moving or stationary? Please type M or S. Very good. Very good. And what about magnetic field? Time variant or time invariant? I'm asking about magnetic field. Time variant or time invariant? Time invariant. Very good, guys. That means if conductors are moving, magnetic field is time invariant, then dynamic EMF is induced. Okay. But here, guys, it's a special case. What is that? Conductors are stationary. Please try to see. Are you able to see? Please try to see this laser pointer. Conductors are stationary and magnetic field is time invariant. Time invariant. So that means at that time, do we have rate of change of flux linkage like this? D by dt of n pi will be there, will not be there? Will be there, will not be there? Yes or no? Answer. No. See, why means, see, very simple reason. Yeah, very simple. Because guys, if conductors are stationary at that time, magnetic field should be, I'm asking you people only. If conductors are stationary, whatever magnetic field should be? Time invariant or time variant? Very good, time invariant. Sorry, time variant. Sorry, very good, very good. Suppose if magnetic field is time invariant, conductor should be, for having rate of change of flux linkage, I'm asking, it should be moving, right? But here, it's a special case where conductors are stationary and magnetic field is time invariant. Then do you have rate of change of flux linkage? No, it's absent. Induced EMF in the windings, in the induced EMF in conductors will be equal to 0. Okay, guys. So it's a simple example. I can say transformer operated on a DC supply. This is the best example. Why, guys? You please tell me. Transformer. In transformer, conductors are stationary or moving? Tell me, in transformer, conductor stationary or moving? Stationary. Okay. And what about magnetic field? Time. See, generally, you know that to the transformer, you will be giving AC supply only. Anjana Suresh, you said TV, right? Generally, it is TV. Generally, it is time variant only. Why means generally we will be giving AC supply to the transformer. If I give AC supply to transformer, current taken the transformer is AC. So flux produced in transformer core is also been AC, time variant. That is okay. But in this case, I had given, suppose if I give DC supply to the transformer, what will happen? There's a question I'm asking. Are you getting my question? Yeah. If I give DC supply to the transformer means conductors are stationary. Therefore, no doubt conductors are stationary. This statement is satisfied. And magnetic field here it is time invariant. Why? I am just giving DC supply to the, I can say transformer. I'm just giving DC supply to the, I can say transformer. So whenever supply is time invariant, DC, current taken the transformer also time invariant or DC, flux produced in transformer core also time invariant or DC. Now once again, please from your guys, from you side, I'm expecting answer, guys. If transformer, if I give DC supply to the transformer, you said conductors are stationary, very good. What about magnetic field? Stationary, I mean time variant or time invariant? Very good, time invariant. Right, very good. That means I am asking you a question indirectly that what will happen if we give DC supply to the transformer? That's the question I'm asking. I'm repeating my question. What will happen if I give DC supply to the transformer? I'll tell you a small story, guys. I think see, actually I'm a railway employee. Okay, so I'm working for Indian Railways actually. So there, guys, let me do one small. Let me share one experience with you. If you don't have any objection, can I? Can I? Can I? Yeah, very good, very good, very good, very good. See, what is that experience? A very simple thing I'm asking. It's not a joke also, but if you feel that it's a joke, you can laugh. Otherwise, you leave it. Okay, it's not issue. See, guys, what is that incident? No, in railways, one day actually one mechanic is there. Actually, they'll be operating with the 110 volts actually. 110 volts is a supply readily available in a railways for some applications. Okay, so instead of giving 110 volts AC to the transformer, he is going to give 110 volts DC to the transformer. I said, no, don't give 110 volts DC supply to the transformer. Okay, he said, so what is the reason, sir? What is it? Here also 110 volts, there also 110 volts. What will happen if I give 110 DC also? Like that he said. Okay. Simply, you tell me what might be my answer. What might be my answer? Okay, maybe you cannot chart. Okay, you cannot chart because if you want me to give answer, you have to type a lot of no. Very simple, guys. So I stopped him to give 110 volts DC. He said, what is there? What is the problem, sir? 110 volts AC, here also 110 volts DC. There is also 110, here also 110. So why you are asking me not to give 110 volt DC supply? Simply I said that, okay, do one thing. You just give first of all, so that you will come to know. I simply said that you just give 110 volt DC to the transformer, so that you will come to know. He started giving 110 volt DC supply to the transformer. Okay, so after some time, he observed some smoke, like something like that. He observed some smoke from the transformer. Okay, he simply said that, sir. Yes, sir. I said, yeah, that's why I said, please stop giving 110 volt DC. Is it clear? So because it's a mechanic, I cannot explain all those things. If I say that in transformer, conductors are stationary, magnetic field is the time invariant if you are giving DC supply, okay, rate of change of flux will not be there, EMF induced in transformer windings will be 0, current taken the transformer is very large, so because of the primary winding will burn out, all those things if I will be giving on explaining whether he will listen. You tell me here, will he listen all those things if I keep on explaining all those things? No, right? So tell me when he will listen. Tell me when he will listen. If smoke comes, he will listen. Yes or no? If smoke comes, then he will listen. Yes or no? Yes. That's why I asked him to give. So then he'll come to know that, sir, smoke is coming. I said, no, that's the reason I asked you not to give 110 volt DC. So reason I'm just going to explain now to you. I think yes, no doubt it may be known to you, but I'm explaining once again, guys. See, this is about plus minus. I'm just giving V1 DC supply to the transformer. So here primary winding, this is about winding. I can call this winding as primary winding because this is the winding which is connected to the source. Winding which is connected to the source can be called as a primary winding, and winding which is connected to the load can be called as a secondary winding. Okay, guys. Here, because of V1 DC given to the transformer, you tell me V1 DC, I said, it's a time variant or time invariant? Time invariant, right? Time invariant. We'll do one thing. Before explaining what will happen to the transformer if I give DC supply, first of all, let me discuss what will happen to the transformer if I give AC supply. That we'll see. Okay, we'll see AC supply case. Then I will go for DC supply case. Tell me, guys, if I give AC supply to the transformer, please assume that in place of plus minus, you're having a AC supply source is there, phase neutral supply source is there, V1 AC is there here. Please assume that in place of V1 DC, you are having V1 AC. Okay, I had taken that V1 AC value 200 volts here. Let V1 AC go 200 volts. Now tell me, guys, if a voltage source is AC, time variant, what about current taken with transformer also time variant? No, time variant. It means what AC I can say. Current taken the transformer is the AC or time variant. Flux produced in transformer core is AC or DC? Please reply. In this AC supply case, if I give a AC supply to the transformer, so flux produced in transformer core is AC or DC? AC. What is the other name for? I can say flux AC means I can say, can I call time varying flux? Yeah, very good. Can I call time varying flux? Yes, I can call. So here flux is time variant. 1 minute. Yes. Here flux is time. Here I can say flux is what I said, time variant, right? Here flux is a time variant, TV. Okay. Whenever flux is time variant, rate of change of flux linkage will be possible or not possible? Please tell me. Rate of change of flux linkage will be there, will not be there? I am expecting answer from you guys only. This topic should be explained by you only. Please tell me. Rate of change of flux linkage will be there or will not be there? Possible. EMF will be induced, not induced? Induced. So EMF will be induced here. Similarly, same flux will go from primary side to secondary side. It links with the secondary winding here. Okay, here number of turns N2 will be, let us assume that number of turns are N2 secondary winding, number of turns are N1 in primary side. Okay, so it links with secondary winding. So tell me, in secondary side also, whenever flux is time variant, here time variant. So tell me, rate of change of flux is possible, not possible? Possible. EMF will be induced, not induced? EMF will be induced. E2 will be induced. Let us assume that this E1 value, I'm just taking it as a, okay, 180 volts, something like that. Okay, I'll take V1, I'll take E1 as value, how much here? 180 volts I'll take. Now tell me in primary side, if you want me to write the formula for I1, what is the formula? V1 AC minus E1 by R1. Is it correct or not? So what is the value of V1 AC in my example? Tell me, 200 volts, right? Right. What is the value of E1 in our example here? Please, 180 volts. Yes or no? What about this numerator term? 200 minus 180 volts. How much? I'm asking total value. I'm asking total value. How much here? So please tell me what is the numerator value? 200 minus 1 minute, please. Yes. 200 minus 180. So numerator value will be around how much? You can say 20 volts, right? So I1 AC will flow corresponding to 20 volts. Okay. So I1 AC flows corresponding to how much? 200 minus 180 means it will flow corresponding to 20 volts. 20 volts divided by, I can say R1. So numerator value is very less, I can say. So current also will be very less. So nothing will happen to primary winding of transformer if I give AC supply to the transformer. Okay. Now tell me what will happen if I give DC supply to the transformer. Okay, guys. Once again, I'll take magnitude of DC voltage just like V1 AC. I'll take here also 200 volts only. I'll take. Okay. Now tell me, I'm expecting answer from you guys, please. If a voltage source is time invariant or DC, current taken of the transformer is time invariant or DC, flux produced in transformer core, tell me, time variant or time invariant? This pi I'm asking. Time variant or time invariant? I'm expecting answer from you guys, please reply. Oh, no. Oh, somebody told time variant. It's not time variant, it's a time invariant, okay? Time, I can say invariant. Tell me. Suppose whenever flux is time invariant, if conductors are moving, then EMF may be induced. But I'm discussing about transformer now. In transformer, conductors are not moving. So whenever conductors are stationary and magnetic field is time invariant, so rate of change of flux will be absent. E1 value how much here? 0. And what about E2 value also 0? And tell me what about I1 DC value? I1 DC, that means DC case. I'm asking about primary current. V1 DC minus E1 by R1. So tell me what is the value of V1 DC here, guys? I have taken how much? 200 volts I have taken. Now what is the value of V1, guys? 0. Tell me what is the numerator value? 200 minus 0 means how much? 200 volts. So I1 DC means it will flow corresponding to 200 volts by R1 is there. So tell me this 200 volts numerator value is more or less? More. I1 DC is very large here. So large amount of current is flowing in the primary side. So because of that, what will happen to primary winding of the transformer will burn out. Is it clear, guys? So I1 this large amount of primary current is flowing in primary side. due to which primary winding will burn out. Is it clear, everybody? Okay. So tell me, what is this is a very repeated question. What will happen if we give DC supply to the transformer? This is a question. So what is the answer? Primary winding will burn out. That's it. Primary winding will burn out. That's the answer. Okay. Then let me ask one question. So please ready for the question. I'm asking a question to you. So I said, if we give DC supply to the transformer, I said primary winding will burn out. Okay, guys. Tell me, do we have any problem with the secondary winding? I'm asking question now. Do you have any problem with the secondary winding? Waiting for your answer, guys. No. Very good. No. Tell me, your answer is no. Okay. Why? Why nothing will happen to secondary winding? So wait. Before giving answer, please wait. Please wait. Let me explain something. After that, I'll ask you. Okay, guys. Your question is, some people may get doubt, sir, why nothing will happen to secondary winding? Some people are getting doubt. So for those people I'm explaining here, some people are thinking like this, sir. You said if I give DC supply to the transformer, so V1 is time invariant, flux is time invariant, rate of change of flux is absent, E1 is 0, and E2 also 0, no, sir? You said E1 is 0, E2 also 0, but we are saying that large amount of current is flowing in primary side, and primary winding will burn out like that we are saying. Tell me, what about secondary winding? Nothing will happen. Why means, guys, though here E2 is 0, like E1 0, in primary side E1 is 0, no? Like that in secondary side E2 0. Do you have any source in secondary winding? This is my question. Do you have any source in secondary winding? Answer, no. Very good. Very good, Amma. Whereas in primary side source is there, no? V1 DC value is there. 200 volts AC, 200 volts DC value is there, no? That 200 volts DC minus E1 value 0 by R1, that much amount of current is flowing in primary side because of the primary winding will burn out. But here, though E2 is 0, I don't have any sorry guys, I don't have any source here. Don't confuse by seeing this V2. V2 is not source voltage, it is a load voltage. It's a load voltage. Okay, so don't confuse by seeing this V2. Since source is not there, okay, so E2 equal to 0. Since source is not there here, nothing will happen to secondary winding, but primary winding will burn out. Okay, guys, please, in this discussion, this should be understood. What will happen if I give DC supply transformer? Primary winding will burn out. Okay, guys. Okay, is it clear? Please, if it is clear, please try to press yes. Yes, very good, very good. Am I going slow or fast? Please. Or this speed is enough for you, or you want me to increase speed, or you want me to reduce speed? Is my speed is okay to you? Yes, Abhijit. Shweta, yes. Okay, sir. Okay. This comfortable speed, sir. Okay. See, once again, guys, I'm with my whole heart, I'm excusing you guys, because I already told you here some problem is there with this pointer. Okay, this cursor, some problem is there for me. I don't know how many of you observed. Did you observe? Please. Did you observe some problem with this cursor? Okay, so I'm not showing the cursor exactly, but I'm just trying my level best. By tomorrow, at any cost, I will rectify this problem so that your class will be very interesting. Okay, sorry for this problem. Okay, because I'm having some problem with pen tab. So it's working here. Perfect, it's working. But I don't know why it happened before starting class. Before half an hour, it was happened like that. Okay. Tell me, you excuse or not? This is a red ring around the cursor, but it is visible, sir. No, cursor I'm saying it's visible, okay. But suppose if I want to bring this cursor to this position, now it is coming okay, but sometimes it is not coming smoothly. So some problem is there with the installation. So I'll rectify that problem. By tomorrow, you don't have any problem. You don't have any issues. Okay, guys. Is it completed? Completed, guys? Okay. Okay, Ruben. Complete. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Amruta. Thank you. What is it? Shanila. Shanila. Thank you. Ruben, Thomas. Thank you. Completed, right? Okay. Yes. Can I go for next slide? Yes. Yeah. Now I think, see, in addition to these basics, guys, in addition to these basics, we should know about armature winding, field winding, and what is the definition for armature winding, definition for field winding, definition for excitation, and all those things we need. But for explaining transformers and induction machine, this much is enough. Because for explaining synchronous machine, DC machine, you need to know armature winding, field winding, excitation, all those things. Before starting alternators and DC machines, I'll explain you once again. I'll explain armature winding, field winding, excitation, DC excitation, all those things. Then I'll start synchronous machine, DC machine. But for starting transformers and induction machine, I think this information is enough for us so that we can proceed to transformers chapter. Can I please? Can I proceed with transformers chapter? Yes, yes. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Akshay. Okay. Right, guys. Let me go to transformer, guys. Okay. Okay. Before okay, let's see. Let me take a transformers topic now. Transformers chapter. It's a chapter number 1. Okay. Right. Please don't write anything. I'll give time to you. You can note down afterwards. Please, though you know basics, which I'm just going to say in first some classes. Example, see, I will say transformer is started device. That everybody knows that. But you may think that, sir, I know, sir. Then why, sir, you repeating once again? No, no. I need to keep every student in my mind, because most of the students will not study in their BTech colleges, though they're having knowledge. Knowledge will be there, but because of so many issues, because of so many problems, they won't concentrate on studies in colleges. Okay. So I need to remember, I need to keep all students also in my mind, and I need to start from basics. Okay. So let me go from basics. See, guys, transformers. You know, guys, in transformer, let me take a rectangular core like this, guys. Please don't lose your concentration. Please be active in the class. Please, everybody. Okay. Can I start? Can I proceed, guys? Can I proceed? Yeah, very good. Yeah. Let me take a transformer core, which is rectangular shape here. I just want 2 windings here. Here, some people will be having confusion, sir. Suppose if I wound like this, how current is going like this? How can you say that flux is going upwards? All those things, all those things will be having clarity after some time, not now. Please don't bother about sense of winding, whether it is a front end or back end, and don't bother about direction of current now. Don't bother about direction of flux. All those things. There is no need to bother about all those things. We discuss about the sense of winding, direction of current, direction of flux clearly in coming sessions. Okay, guys. Just as of now, let us assume that yes, simply transformer core is there, which is rectangular shape I had taken, and here I just wound 2 windings, blue color winding and a green color winding. So this blue color winding can be called as primary winding, and a green color winding can be called secondary winding. Why I'm calling it as primary winding is blue color winding? Because it is connected to the voltage source. Okay, I can say that winding which is connected to the source can be called as primary winding. Winding which is connected to the load can be called as secondary winding. But to be frank, guys, let me say frankly, it is not correct nomenclature like using words primary winding and secondary winding. Okay, to be frank, it is not correct to pronounce windings as primary winding and secondary winding. Okay, why? What is the reason? Can anybody? So I'm saying this blue color nothing but it's a primary winding because it is connected to the source, and I call this green color winding as is secondary winding because it is connected to the load. But I'm saying it is not a correct nomenclature, like using primary winding, secondary winding terms are not correct nomenclature. What is the reason for before that? Very simple, guys. See, it cannot be, it can be interchangeable. Very good. That means, like, see, guys, if source is there and load is there, then I can justify which one primary winding, secondary winding. Suppose if source and load is not connected, then can you able to justify which one is primary winding and which one is secondary winding, guys? Please tell me, yes or no? Can you justify? Yes or no? Very good. No, 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 no. Very good. Very good, man. Very good. Very good, Ruben. Very good. That means without the source and the load connected, it is not possible to justify primary winding and secondary winding. So in transformer, it is, I mean, using primary winding and secondary winding terms are not correct nomenclature. The correct nomenclature for windings the transformer is low voltage winding and high voltage winding. LV winding and a HV winding, not primary winding and secondary winding. See, it seems to be a very simple question, but in one of the PSUs, they ask this question. He simply asked a question like this. The correct nomenclature for windings and transformer is option A, they has given a primary winding and secondary winding. Please listen up. Please listen my options and you have to respond, okay? Correct nomenclature for windings in a transformer is option A, primary winding, secondary winding. Option B, primary winding, LV winding. Option C, secondary winding, HV winding. Option D, low voltage winding, high voltage winding. What is the correct option? D. Very good. That means yes, yeah. But see, the correct nomenclature for windings in transformer is low voltage winding and high voltage winding, because without connecting source and load, it is not possible to justify which one is primary and which one is secondary. Is it clear? But no doubt, in our discussion, we will be using primary winding and secondary winding. But examination point of view, you please try to go for option D, as I told you, low voltage winding and high voltage winding, not for primary winding and secondary winding. Okay, guys. Now let me proceed. So see, guys, what is the definition for transformer? So transformer, is it a static device or dynamic device? Is it static dynamic? See, static means what? We don't have any rotating parts in that. Tell me, transformer is static or dynamic? Everybody, static. That means what? Static means what, guys? Static means what? We don't have any rotating parts in that. So it's a static device. Means we don't have any rotating parts in that. You tell me, guys, if rotating parts are not there, what about mechanical losses position? Mechanical losses means what? I wrote here, try to see here. Mechanical losses means friction, windage losses. Including, friction, windage losses can be called as mechanical losses. Generally, this mechanical loss depends on speed. Okay. Since a transformer is a static device, we don't have any rotating parts. That means there is no speed concept. What about mechanical losses in the transformer, guys? Mechanical losses zero. Absent or present? Zero. That means whenever mechanical losses are absent, what will happen to efficiency? Increases or reduces? Efficiency more or less? High. See, that only simply I wrote here. Since it is a static device, rotating parts are absent, mechanical losses, I can write in bracket friction, windage losses, which depends on speed, are absent. Efficiency of the transformer will be high, around 98%. It will vary from textbook to textbook. So generally it will be approximately 98%. Okay, guys. Now let me explain definition. Very simple. It's a static device. Everybody knows that. Now tell me, don't see this definition, what I wrote on the screen. You please try to respond. Tell me, guys, transformer transfers what? It transfers voltage, current, both. Tell me, guys, transformer transfers what I'm asking. Is it voltage or current or both? Very good, very good, very good. Both means what? Can you give one name for that? Power? Very good, Paul. Very good, Paul. Yes, because you make it once again. Sir, why you are asking this much small loads? Very simple. In one PSU, they ask this question also. Transformer transfers, option A, voltage, option B, current, option C, both. So you should go for option both. Okay. So yeah, it's a static device which transfers power. If you are giving power to this input, to the input of the transformer, okay, it simply transfers power from this side to this side, or I can say from this circuit to this circuit. It simply transfers power. Ideally, there should not be any change in the power value also. Practically, maybe some loss will be there. I'm saying ideally there is no change in power also. Okay, guys. Transformer is a static device which transfers power. I can write in bracket simply voltage and current. Power means what I can say? Voltage and current. Okay, from one side to another side without change in the level of power and frequency. What is the meaning for this? That means ideally, how much power you are giving as input to the transformer, ideally you should get same power output at this side also. That means there should not be any change in the power. And I told there should not be any change in the level of frequency also. D means, what is the meaning here? What will happen, guys, while transferring power from one side to another side by transformer? If frequency change is there, tell me what will happen. Tell me what will happen if there is change in frequency from primary side to secondary side. I'm asking you guys, please reply, answer. Suppose transformer while transferring power from one side to other side, if there is a change in frequency, example, primary induced EMF frequency, primary induced EMF is having frequency F. If secondary induced EMF having frequency other than F, example, primary side frequency 50 Hz, secondary side frequency, if it is something like a 30, 50, something other than 50 Hz, tell me what will happen. I'm expecting answer from you guys. Harmonics, somewhat better answer. Anjana Suresh, harmonics. Any better answers, please? If there is change in frequency from a primary side to secondary side, what will happen? I'm asking. Anybody? Please respond. Please respond. Losses, eddy current losses, looping current in core. Okay. No. See, you are saying some losses, right? See, actually, if you see eddy current losses, that depends on conductivity of the core. No doubt it depends on frequency also. If frequency less, eddy current will be less. If frequency more, eddy current will be more. That is okay. But I need perfect answer. I need. Don't tell me technically. You just tell me a non-technical, like a layman answer should be there from your side. I'm asking. Tell me what will happen if there is change in frequency from primary side to secondary side. Alright, guys, just listen. Just listen, guys. Suppose, guys, just listen. Yeah. Suppose here load is there. No. In place of load, suppose let us assume that we are where our houses are there. Our houses are there. No. Power will transfer, guys. There is no need to worry, Paul. Power will transfer. But problem is here. Let us assume clearly. Please see here, whatever loads is there, loads are there. Like example, our house are there here. Suppose whatever the equipments we are using in our houses, those equipments designed for frequency, let us assume that 50 Hz. Generally, in our India, we are designing equipments for 50 Hz. Okay. Suppose whatever power you are giving input voltage to this transformer, so this input voltage also having frequency 50 Hz only. So while transferring power from one side to other side, so frequency should not be changed because here loads already designed for 50 Hz. If we get supply other than 50 Hz here, what will happen to loads? Tell me, what will happen to loads? Will damage. Loads will damage. Is it clear? Please response, yes or no? Loads will damage, yes or no? Yes. That's the reason why they should not be changing level of power and frequency. Guys, there should not be change the level of power and frequency. But what about there may be change in the level of voltage and current? See, from primary file transferring power from one side to other side, so there should not be change the level of power and frequency means how much power you are giving input to the transformer. So ideally you should get same power at the output side also, and whatever the frequency of a primary side, so frequency of secondary side also should be same, so that loads will not damage. And I said there may be change in level of voltage and current. Very simple. Suppose if you take a step up transformer, guys, what is the meaning that step up transformer means? What step up means? Secondary voltage will be greater than primary voltage, E2 greater than E1. And I'll tell you in future we are having a relation is there, guys. There is a direct relation between EMF and number of turns. EMF, 1 minute. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Just otherwise, okay. So there is one relation between EMF and number of turns. EMF proportional to number of turns, one relation is there. Okay, that we will discuss. It will come in future. Since E2 is greater than E1 in a step-up transformer, secondary turns also will be more than primary turns. And what about current, guys? Please try to think clearly. Secondary voltage more, I said. Okay, E2 more means I2 should be less, no? Because transformer is a constant power device. If voltage is more, current should be less here. So I2 should be less than I1. Okay. And what about step down transformer? E2, step down means secondary voltage less than primary voltage, N2 less than N1, whereas I2 greater than I1. Okay. And this note also I explained, and let me explain this working principle. Working principle means simple. Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, or simply mutual induction is the principle for this okay, transformer. I'll explain all those things. See, very simple, guys. Hello, everybody. See, whenever time variant voltage is connected to the transformer, current taken in the transformer is time variant, flux produced in the transformer core is time variant. So rate of change of flux is E1 proportional d by dt of N1 into pi. EMF will be induced here. Same flux will go from primary side to secondary side. See, let me use laser pointer here. Same flux will go from primary side to secondary side. It linked the secondary winding also. Here also rate of change of flux linkage will be there. EMF will be induced. Okay. So by mutual induction principle, flux is going from primary side to secondary side. Is it clear, guys? So this is about working principle, Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction or mutual induction. Okay. Please note down. I think you completed. Are you completed? Have you completed noting down? Completed. Very good, Vishnu. Okay. See, let me go for next one. I think just features. See, let me discuss for 5 minutes. Suppose if it is not completed, don't worry. I'll repeat once again in tomorrow's class. Okay. So tell me, can I call transformer as a single excited device? So I had given reason also here, but I won't show you reason. Tell me why transformer is a single excited device here. See, what is the reason why transformer is a single excited device? I'm asking. So I'm just going to ask some questions, guys. Please listen carefully. So why transformer is a single excited device? Why transformer is a phase shifting device? Why transformer is a constant power device? Why transformer is a constant frequency device? Why transformer is a constant flux device? Why transformer is energy conversion device internally? Okay. Why transformer can be called as coupled circuit? Why transformer can be called as negative feedback circuit? All those points I'm just going to explain in features of transformer. Next one is nothing but features of transformer. In that features of transformer, we are going to explain about reasons why transformer is single excited, why transformer is a constant power device, why it is a constant frequency device, why it is constant flux device, why it is energy conversion device internally, why it is phase shifting device. All those things will be seen. Okay. So can I proceed to next slide, or you want me to take class by tomorrow? Please, I need answer from you guys, because already you are told that classes from 7 to 9. It's 8:58 is time is 8:58. So tell me, let me know. Can I take next slide? I'm just going to explain features of transformer in the next slide. Can I? Please respond. Can I, or can I take class tomorrow? No problem. Just you should be very frank. Bharat, thank you. You said tomorrow, right? Very good. Tomorrow. Okay, no problem. I'll take tomorrow only. Don't worry. So many people are saying tomorrow, because I can understand, because online class you cannot sit for a long time. Okay, but the thing is, by tomorrow, but from tomorrow onwards, I think today small topics only we covered. See, let us assume that tomorrow, I think, okay, anyway, I won't take features of transformer now, but let me ask some questions now, so that I'll remaining things I'll explain tomorrow only. So guys, this topic, features of transformer, will explain tomorrow. And if you see it after that, you might have shown here some figure. Are you able to see, everybody? Are you able to see? Yes, very good. So here first of all, let me ask one question, guys. Suppose in this, if you take this blue color winding, if you take this blue color winding, so here in this blue color winding, this end can be called as front end. Don't worry, I'll give reason all of this. I'm just going to say tomorrow I'm just going to start a real electrical machine subject, where there is a lot of difference between front end and back end, all those things. Still now we did not learn anything. Let me say frankly, we started only basics, but from tomorrow onwards we are going to enter into electrical machine subject clear. Really we will enter. So let us first of all, let's try to see here. In this question, excuse me guys, in this diagram, please guys, in this diagram, tell me, anybody, do you know, why I'm calling it as front end, why am I calling it as back end, why am I calling it as front end, back end, and here it is front end, here it is back end, here it is back end, here it is front end. Okay, so there is a lot of difference between sense of winding, if winding is like this blue color, see, tell me, is there any difference in sense of winding between this yellow color and a green color? At least, please tell me answer from your side. Is there any difference in the sense of winding between this yellow color winding and green color winding? Direction of magnetic field. Very good, Vishnu. Very good, Vishnu. Very good, Abhijit. Very good, Sanjeev. Yes. Tell me. Okay. Anyway, I'll explain tomorrow. But please tell me. I'm asking you simply. In this yellow color, suppose if it is phase, it is neutral. In this case, by seeing this neutral point, by seeing this phase, tell me what might be the direction of flux in coil A? Is it right to left or left to right? I'm asking. Those who did not know, there is no need to bother. Okay, tomorrow I'm just going to explain. I'm asking simply for if it is neutral, if it is phase here. So tell me, in this case, in this yellow color winding, I'm asking what about direction of flux? Right to left or left to right? Right to left. Very good. And what about this green color, guys? For this connection, for this green color connection, I'm asking for this green color winding. What about direction of flux? Is it left to right or left right to left? Left to right. Okay, let me check. Let me check for time being. Okay, what about in this case, guys? In this blue color winding, direction of flux. If it is phase, if it is neutral, right to left or left to right? In the blue color winding, I'm asking. Very good. What about red color winding? Red color winding. I'm asking about red color winding. Direction of flux. Is it from right to left or left to right? Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. And very good. So all those things clearly I'll be explaining by using some figures. Okay. By using these figures, I'll be explaining all those things. And I'm just going to give a reason also. You might have known in transformer because of Lenz law. In transformer because of Lenz law in primary side. Did you observe? Let me write one small equation. After that, I'll leave. Please, in primary side of the transformer, guys, tell me what is the relation between V1 and E1. You can write here. I'm asking a simple question. In primary side, what is the relation between V1 and E1? I'm asking. Can I write V1 bar equal to E1 bar? Is it correct? Abhijit, you said negative, right? Okay, very good. See, V1 bar equals E1 bar is correct for regarding a circuit theory point of it is correct. Regarding circuit theory point of it is correct, okay. But here, so because, I mean, regarding field theory point of view, here minus symbol should be there. I think so many people know that minus symbol is due to Lenz law. That everybody knows, right? But tomorrow class, I'm just going to explain clearly why you should write V1 bar equals to minus E1 bar here. Simply in textbooks, you might have seen V1 bar equals minus E1 bar. They will write simply minus is due to Lenz law. But I'll explain clearly in depth. I'll explain why I should write V1 bar equals to minus E1 bar in this primary set. All those things we'll explain clearly in tomorrow's class. Okay, guys? And don't worry about the previous questions. Those I'll start anyway. Okay. Today class, I think it's very, I had taken only small things only, only basics only I had taken. So real transformer subject, I'm just going to start from tomorrow onwards. Okay. Can we leave? Can we leave? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Bharat. If you want, excuse me, if you want my mobile number also, you want me to give today or you want me to give tomorrow? It's I can give. So if you have any doubts, you can call and you can ask doubts. Whatever, suppose today I had taken some class here, right? If you have any doubts, you can ask, okay? So if you want, you can note down number. I'll give my number. So please, so for today's class, if you are having any doubts, if you want me to talk with me, if you want to talk, so you can call to this number 7842426603. 7842426603. Okay, guys. Okay, thank you everybody.